Let's see what's up. Now let's rewind back to when I was first building this thing. I must say, it was a pretty challenging task. I mean, this has never really been done before, especially the way I went about it. I actually made motor mount rails, like a full-size boat. And I mounted them in there in the same place that they would be. It took some machining and it took some skill. I chamfered the holes. I drilled the holes and I chamfered them so that the bolts would mount flush with the rails and they wouldn't interfere with the motor plates or the mounting of the engine. And I set up the drive assembly, which was pretty challenging because typically I do electric boats, and some of this was nitro hardware that I put in there. Randy Naylor helped me build the pillow blocks. Those are really nice. They came out so realistic. They look just like a full-size drag boat. But this isn't a drag boat. In fact, it's a GN boat. It's an exact replica of Scott Steele's Raysoncraft GN boat. And like I said, it came out rad. The thing looks just like it. We have pictures and video of it right next to the full-size one. For fuel tank, I modified an old airplane tank. And I mean, these tanks were from back from the 50s. But I remember seeing them in hobby shops. And we had an old-time hobby shop in town. Well, not in town, but not far from here. And before they went out of business, like unfortunately a lot of moms and pops hobby shops are, I went there and got a bunch of them, which is so awesome because it looks very realistic and it works really well on the boat. Then I also set up the water pump. This boat does have a water pump because it's got a nitro engine and it will sit in idle or it'll sit at low speeds. So we want to make sure plenty of water is going into this thing at all times. It's not a high-speed boat, and if we have it just on force feed, then we're not sure it's going to get enough speed to flow enough water through it to keep this engine adequately cooled. The way this boat is rigged up, the driveline, everything is completely engineered by me. Fully out of my imagination. No parts, no ideas, no nothing was given to me. Like I said, Randy Naylor did machine those pillow blocks and he did help with the plates. That was great. But other than that, it was all of my engineering and design and ideas. I created miniature steel braided hoses. That was really fun. And yeah, it's been a fun project, I'll give it that. I engineered a remote starting system on the controller. That's right, you push a button on the controller and it starts. I used an old Novak speed controller, and the starter motor on the V8 is a brushed motor, so I made it actuate through the receiver with a separate battery. It's really cool, and the first time it worked, I was really excited. But I'm not gonna just sit here and talk. Let's get back to running it. I did more running on it, check it out. Okay, dear friends. This afternoon is nice, bright, and sunny. I'm in the mood to fire this thing up. Yeah, that's right, the Mini V8 RC boat. I don't remember whether I'd run the valves first last time I ran this thing, so I'm gonna run the valves real quick, and let's get this thing set up and run it. Ran the valves on this bank, everything looks cool. Just ran the second bank, everything looks good. Seems like these valves are starting to take a set after breaking the engine in some, but we'll show you some breaking in. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, gather around. It's that time again to fire up that V8 RC boat with a Mini Supercharged V8. And look who I've got here. It's the Oldsmobile, the car everybody loves to see in my videos. Yeah, but what we're gonna be doing in this run, I'm gonna be doing some carb tuning. I wasn't getting enough smoke out of these rear pipes, so I'm gonna adjust this carb and see if we can get some more smoke. Let's get to it. Fuel in my tank, water pump pumping. All right, y'all. Now, didn't that sound a lot more revvy? And this is why I'm not rushing this project. This is why I'm taking time to break this engine in nicely. Now, it would have sucked to do a maiden run the way the engine was running before. Now it's rev up. Yan, yan, yan. You know what? We're about to run another tank through it and get even more revvy. Let's do it. Now, between these runs, I've left the water pump on, and it cooled the engine down. I want to heat and cool. Not particularly as fast as I'm doing it, you know what I mean? I'd rather just air cool itself, but water cooling it is not hurting it. Shall we? I must say, this thing is so incredibly cool. Now, that was even snappier yet, huh? We're going to get more and more snappy. I noticed this pulley, I'm not getting no wobble from it. This blower hat, it's got some jingle to it, but I am going to order another blower hat, but for right now, it's not hurting anything. We're going to get it more and more snappy. Let's do another run. Now, this thing is starting to run better and better. It's running even cooler. Before, it was getting real hot at number one cylinder, and I check it, and it's just not hot like that anymore. It seems like the more the engine breaks in, the better it runs, the cooler it runs. Maybe it's less friction going on inside. Who knows? But whatever it is, I like what's going on. And we're getting one step closer to hitting the Ziffo tub. All right, guys. Let's face it. I don't like the tune on this thing. It's apparently running real wet. It's running real fat on the carburetor. So I'm going to make some adjustments to see if I can get some smoke. Let's see what's up. Okay, now that was promising. I did that run without filming it, but I got more smoke. As you can see, that silver pipe is starting to blacken. My tuning is working. I'll film some of it this time. You guys will see more smoke coming out. Let's hit it. Here we go again. I took the blower hat off just to make things easier to tune. Now that was downright fun. We did run into some issues on our final run. The engine's having a problem. It's actually locked up. But we called Gary over in Australia, and he said, just take it apart, and there's probably something to dislodge, which we'll be doing soon. So where are we at now on this thing? Well, as I said, the engine sustained some damage, and I'll tell you why. I got overzealous. I think I let a bunch of dipshits on YouTube and on Facebook keep egging me on. Come on, run it. Let's see the water. There's a reason there's not another one on the water. The engine needs a significant amount of break-in for it to operate properly, and that's what I was doing. I tried to rush the break-in, and yes, I hurt something. I spoke with Gary in Australia, and he said it's probably just a matter of me taking the engine apart and dislodging whatever's going on, which I'll do. If I need parts, I'll just go to him, and I'll get them. But this thing will live to fight another day. I'll be opening the engine up in the next upcoming weeks, and I'll get it fixed, and we'll be back on the water. But that just reminds me, if you're somebody that wants to try to rush me or anything like that, get lost. You know what I mean? I'm not going to entertain any of your comments. I'm going to do this thing at the pace I want to and that I can. This is my fun project. This is all of my creation. Nobody else has one of these, no matter what they say or anybody trying to rush me or anything like that. And it's going to be awesome. There's a reason I don't work on this every day. I have customers' boats to build and a business to run. This thing isn't paying the bills. In fact, it's costing me. But it sure is fun, and I really like bringing it to you. that being said, stay tuned for this thing. It's in its final stages. I basically just have to finish breaking in the engine. I've got the prop, I've got the drive line, I've got everything it needs to run. Again, that being said, subscribe to our channel, smash that like button, and continue enjoying radio control model boating, and stay tuned for this mini supercharged V8 to hit the water.